Hey guys, before I get into the nightmare, I want to take you back to how normal everything felt at the start, because that's what makes it so much scarier. My name's Alex, I'm 28, and I live alone in a tiny one-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn. I'm a freelance video editor, so most days I'm glued to my desk from 9 a.m. until whenever the client stops sending revisions. Coffee, headphones, same playlist on repeat, that's my life. I'm not really a people person, so when I feel myself burning out, I book a cheap Airbnb somewhere quiet and just disappear for a couple of days. It's my reset button. Last June, I hit that wall hard. I hadn't slept properly in weeks, and every little sound in the city, sirens, neighbors arguing, the guy upstairs doing what sounded like bowling at 2 a.m., was driving me insane. I needed silence. Real silence. I opened Airbnb and typed, cabin, upstate New York, under $120 a night, and this one listing kept popping up first. A small A-frame cabin, dark green, almost swallowed by pine trees. The photos looked perfect, a little porch with 2 rocking chairs, a wood stove, no neighbors in sight. The host's name was Mark, 38 reviews, 4.9 stars. People kept writing things like, exactly what I needed, so peaceful, best sleep I've had in years. There were only 2 bad reviews, both from the same week last year, saying the Wi-Fi didn't work and it felt isolated in a bad way. I laughed. Isolated in a bad way? That's exactly what I wanted. I messaged Mark on Thursday night, hey, looking to book this weekend, Friday to Sunday. Still available? He answered in, like, 30 seconds, absolutely, dates are open. I'll approve instantly. That was fast, but whatever, hosts do that. He added, you'll have the whole place to yourself. Enjoy the quiet. Something about the way he wrote, enjoy the quiet, felt heavy. Like he really meant it. I shrugged it off and booked it. Friday morning, I threw a duffel bag in my car, laptop, 2 hoodies, instant noodles, a 6-pack, and hit the road. The drive was easy until the last 20 minutes. GPS took me off the main road onto this narrow gravel path that twisted deeper and deeper into the woods. No cell service, no houses, just trees so tall the sun barely touched the ground. It was beautiful, but there was this weird pressure in the air, like the forest was holding its breath. I rolled the windows down and it was dead silent. Not even birds. That struck me as odd, because it was June, everything should have been loud with life, but okay, maybe it was just a quiet part of the woods. I finally pulled up to the cabin around 3 p.m. It looked exactly like the photos, maybe even cuter in person. Dark green paint, red front door, little gravel driveway with one of those wooden, welcome, signs hanging from a tree. I grabbed my keys from the lockbox, code 0813, super easy, and stepped inside. The place smelled like pine needles and old books. Everything was clean, almost too clean. Wood floors, a small couch facing the stove, kitchenette on the left, bedroom and bathroom in the back. There was a note on the counter in neat handwriting, welcome, Alex. Make yourself at home. Firewood is stacked out back. Please keep the red door locked at night. The woods get animals. Mark, normal, right? Except, why specify the red door? There was only one door, the front one, and it was red. I don't know, it just felt like a weird thing to write. I laughed at myself for overthinking and started unpacking. I spent the afternoon on the porch editing a client video. The silence was incredible. No notifications, no traffic, nothing. Just the occasional creak of the rocking chair when the breeze moved it. But here's the first little thing that felt off. Every time I looked up from my laptop, I swear the second rocking chair was facing a slightly different direction. Like, I'd be typing, glance away for 5 minutes, look back, and it had turned a few inches toward me. The first time I thought wind. The second time I got up and moved it myself, facing it straight ahead again. 10 minutes later, it had turned again. Slowly. I even took a photo at 4:12 p.m. with the chair perfectly straight, then another at 4:27 p.m. where it was angled toward me. Same breeze, same porch, no one else here. I told myself I was tired from the drive. Cabins shift, wood expands, whatever. Evening came fast. I made a fire, ate noodles, cracked a beer. The sunset through the trees was blood orange, gorgeous. I felt good for the first time in weeks. Around 9 p.m. I shut my laptop, brushed my teeth, and got ready for bed. That's when the small, clear weird thing happened, the one that still makes my stomach drop when I think about it. I turned off all the lights except the little lamp by the couch. The cabin went super dark, just the glow of the dying fire. I was walking toward the bedroom when I passed the front door, the red door. I hadn't touched it since I locked it hours ago. Deadbolt flipped, chain on, everything secure. But as I walked by, I heard the tiniest metallic click. I stopped. Looked at the door. The chain was hanging loose. Not broken, not forced, just unhooked, swinging gently like someone had lifted it off with careful fingers. And the deadbolt? Still locked. But the chain was definitely on when I came in. I took a photo of it earlier because I thought it looked old school cool. I stood there for a full minute, staring at it in the dark. My heart started pounding. I told myself the hook must be loose, gravity did it, something boring. I rehooked the chain, double-checked the deadbolt, and went to bed. But as I lay there in the total silence of the woods, I couldn't shake the feeling that the cabin wasn't as empty as it was supposed to be. I woke up Saturday morning telling myself it was nothing. Chains slip, old cabins make noises, I was just jumpy from city stress. I made coffee, opened all the curtains, and the sunlight made everything feel normal again. Birds were finally singing outside. See? Everything's fine. I spent the morning working on the porch. Cell service was still dead, but the Wi-Fi actually worked great, weird for being so far out. I posted a quick story on Instagram, picture of the cabin, coffee mug, caption, finally some peace. Within 10 minutes I had a DM from a random account. No profile picture, just a default gray silhouette. The username was a string of numbers, 08132024. The message said, "You look relaxed." That was it. Just those 3 words. I stared at my phone. The timestamp on my story was literally 8 minutes ago. I hadn't shown my exact location, just trees and the corner of the porch. How could anyone know I was here that fast? I typed back, "Who is this?" and the message instantly showed as read, but no reply. I blocked the account and tried to forget it. An hour later, another DM, different account, same gray silhouette, different numbers. "The red door looks nice on you." My stomach flipped. The red door was behind me in the photo, yeah, but barely visible. I went inside, locked the door, and sat on the couch trying to breathe. I told myself it was probably just some creepy guy who saves photos of Airbnb doors. Happens. I turned my phone face down and went back to work. Around 2 p.m. I decided to go for a walk to clear my head. There's a little trail that starts behind the cabin and loops about 2 miles through the woods. I left my phone charging inside, no service anyway, and took only my keys and a bottle of water. The trail was beautiful at first. Sunlight flickering through the leaves, moss everywhere. But the deeper I went, the quieter it got again. Like someone turned the volume knob down on the forest. 10 minutes in, I had that prickling feeling on the back of my neck, you know, when you feel eyes on you. I stopped and looked around. Nothing. Just trees. I kept walking. Then I heard it, footsteps behind me, matching my pace exactly. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I stopped dead. The footsteps stopped a half second later. I turned around slowly. Empty trail. I laughed out loud to break the tension, but it came out shaky. I started walking again, faster this time. The footsteps started again, closer. I didn't stop this time, I just walked as fast as I could without running. Every time my foot hit the ground, another foot echoed half a beat later. I made it back to the clearing in record time, heart hammering. The cabin looked exactly the same, but the rocking chair that had been moving yesterday? It was now turned completely around, facing the woods where I'd just come from. Like someone had been sitting in it, watching the trail, waiting for me to come back. I rushed inside and locked the door. My phone was blowing up with notifications even though I had no bars. How? I opened Instagram. Same gray account again, new numbers every time I blocked it, had sent 8 messages in the last 20 minutes, you walk fast when you're scared. Did you like the trail? I waved but you didn't wave back. Check the bottom of your shoe. I looked at the sole of my right sneaker. Stuck to it was a tiny piece of red paper, cut perfectly into the shape of a door. Same shade as the front door. I had never seen it before. I freaked out and called my best friend Sarah on WhatsApp. The call actually connected over Wi-Fi. I told her everything, the chair, the chain, the footsteps, the messages. She listened, but I could hear the doubt in her voice. Alex, you've been super stressed. And you said yourself there's no service, maybe the messages are delayed or something? Also, red paper? Come on, you probably stepped on trash. Sarah, someone is watching me. Babe, you're in the middle of nowhere. Just lock the doors and come home tomorrow. You're scaring yourself. I hung up feeling worse. Even my best friend thought I was losing it. The rest of the afternoon I kept every curtain closed. I tried to work, but every little sound made me jump. Around 6 p.m. I heard a single knock on the front door. Not loud, just one polite knock. I froze. I hadn't heard a car. No footsteps on the gravel. I crept to the peephole, yes, this tiny cabin had a peephole, and looked out. Nothing. Empty porch. Both rocking chairs perfectly still. I backed away slowly. My phone buzzed on the table. New DM, same gray avatar, I knocked but you didn't answer. Rude. I dropped the phone like it burned me. That message came in less than 5 seconds after the knock. Whoever this was could see inside the cabin. Night fell fast. I double-checked every lock, pushed the couch in front of the red door even though it felt ridiculous. I turned on every light in the place and sat on the bed with my back against the wall, watching the door. I didn't sleep. I just waited. At 11:47 p.m. my phone lit up again. This time it wasn't a DM. It was a text message from an unknown number, full bars suddenly appearing even though I'd had 0 service for 2 days. The text had no words. Just a single photo. It was my car in the driveway, taken from the porch, tonight. My license plate perfectly clear. Under the photo, a second message appeared as I stared at it, sleep tight, Alex. I know exactly where you are. I didn't scream. I couldn't. All the air left my body at once. Whoever this was had been close enough to touch my car while I sat inside, 10 feet away, thinking I was safe behind a locked door. And the worst part? When I looked out the bedroom window toward the driveway, my car was still there, untouched. But the driver's door was now wide open after the photo of my open car door. I dragged the kitchen table over and wedged it under the handle of the red front door, then stacked 2 chairs on top for good measure. I turned every light on again, sat on the bed with my back to the wall, and held my phone like a weapon. Battery at 43%. No service again. I kept refreshing, watching the bars blink in and out like they were teasing me. The cabin was never truly quiet. Old wood pops when it cools down, right? But every pop sounded deliberate. Every creak felt like weight on the floorboards. I stared at the bedroom door, thin wood, no lock, and counted my own heartbeats because they were louder than anything else. 1:12 a.m. Something brushed the outside wall. A soft, slow scrape, like fingernails testing the siding. Once, twice, then it stopped right beside the bedroom window. I held my breath so hard my lungs burned. 2:03 a.m. The porch light I'd left on suddenly went dark. Not flickered, just off. The switch was inside, next to the front door. I never touched it. 2:41 a.m. A single footstep on the porch. Gravel crunched, slow and heavy, then silence again. I bit my hand to keep from making noise. I kept telling myself, 1 more hour, then the sun starts coming up, then I throw everything in the car and I'm gone. Just survive until light. Then the clock on my phone flipped to 3 a.m. exactly. Everything stopped. Even the tiny night noises. Dead, total silence, like the whole forest was listening. I heard the chain on the front door rattle, one soft metallic clink. Then the deadbolt turned by itself. Slowly. Click, click, click. The sound of someone taking their time. I couldn't breathe. My whole body started shaking so hard the bed frame tapped the wall. The handle started to turn. Down, down, millimeter by millimeter. The table and chairs I'd stacked should have stopped it, but whatever was on the other side was pushing anyway. The legs of the table scraped across the floor, inch by inch. The chairs wobbled and one fell with a loud crash. The door opened 4 inches. Cold air rushed in, and with it the smell of wet leaves and something sour, like old meat. A slice of moonlight cut across the floor. I saw a shadow in that gap, tall, thin, completely still. No face, just black. It didn't step inside yet. It just waited, like it wanted me to see it. I scrambled backward on the bed until my spine hit the headboard. My phone slipped from my sweaty hands and clattered to the floor. The screen lit up, shining straight at the gap in the door. For 1 second the light caught something, pale fingers curled around the edge of the door, long and shiny like they were wet. Then the fingers slid out of sight. The door kept opening. 6 inches. 8 inches. The table kept scraping. I finally found my voice and screamed, "Raw, animal." I grabbed the only thing near me, the heavy metal lamp on the nightstand, and yanked the cord out of the wall. I held it like a bat. The door was almost wide enough for a person now. I could hear breathing on the other side. Slow. Patient. In through the nose, out through the mouth, like it had all the time in the world. I lunged off the bed, sprinted the 3 steps to the bedroom door, and slammed it shut with my whole body. There was a tiny slide bolt at the top, I'd never noticed it before. My shaking fingers somehow got it locked. A half-second later something hit the other side of the bedroom door, not hard, just a soft thump, like a head leaning against the wood. Then the whispering started. It was right on the other side of the thin door, inches from me. A man's voice, low and calm, like he was talking to a scared child. "Alex, you left the chain off again." My blood turned to ice. Same voice that had typed the messages. Real. Here. I backed up until my legs hit the bed. The whispering kept going, too soft to make out every word, but I caught pieces. "Always wanted to see inside, you look smaller up close." The doorknob rattled, just once, testing the bolt. I looked around for anything, window too small, no back door, no weapons. I was trapped. Then the power went out. Every light died at once. The room dropped into pure black. I couldn't see my own hand. I couldn't hear anything except my heartbeat and that slow breathing on the other side of the door. 10 seconds of total darkness. 20. 30. I stood frozen, clutching the lamp, waiting for the bedroom door to explode open. Instead, the breathing moved away. Slow footsteps across the living room floorboards, retreating. The front door, the red door, creaked once more, wider this time, then gently closed. I heard the chain slide back into place. The deadbolt clicked locked. Silence again. I didn't move for 5 full minutes. Then I crept to the bedroom door on my knees, pressed my ear against it. Nothing. I slid the bolt open, cracked the door an inch. Moonlight from the living room window showed me everything: table and chairs still stacked, front door closed and chained exactly like I'd left it hours ago. No footprints on the dusty floor. No wet handprints. No sign anyone had ever been inside. But on the inside of the red door, at eye level, someone had drawn a tiny perfect door in red marker. Same shade as the paper stuck to my shoe earlier. And right under it, in handwriting I now recognized from the welcome note, were 3 new words: "See you tomorrow." I grabbed my keys, my phone, my wallet, nothing else, and ran barefoot to my car. The driver's door was closed again. I jumped in, locked it, started the engine. Headlights on, gravel driveway empty. I reversed so fast I almost hit a tree, then floored it down the dirt road. Branches whipped the windows. I didn't slow down until I hit the main highway and saw other cars and streetlights. I never went back for my stuff. I still have the photos and the screenshots, but everything else, laptop, clothes, shoes, is still in that cabin. Mark, the host, never answered any of my messages after that night. His profile is gone now. The listing disappeared from Airbnb 2 days later. People keep asking me, "Did you call the police?" Yeah, I did. They went up there Monday morning. The cabin was empty, clean, spotless. My stuff was neatly folded on the bed with a new note that just said, "Safe travels." But here's the part that keeps me awake: when the cops sent me the evidence photos, one of them showed the inside of the red door. The little drawn door was gone. Wiped clean. Except, in the very corner of the photo, almost out of frame, you can just see the edge of my bedroom door in the background. And it's open. Just a crack. Like someone's still waiting inside for the next guest. If you're watching this and you ever see a listing with a red door and a host who answers in 30 seconds telling you to enjoy the quiet, cancel it. Because I still get a new DM every June, same gray avatar, different numbers. And every year the message is the same: "Ready for your weekend yet, Alex? Sweet dreams, guys, or whatever's left of them." I made it back to Brooklyn just after sunrise that Saturday. I drove 110 the whole way, crying and shaking so hard I had to pull over twice to throw up on the side of the highway. When I finally walked into my apartment, I dead-bolted the door, pushed my couch in front of it, and sat on the floor until Monday morning. I called the police that same day. 2 officers came to my place, took my statement, looked at the screenshots, the photos of the red paper door, the DMs, everything. They were polite, but I could tell they thought I'd had some kind of breakdown in the woods. They promised to drive up to the cabin on Monday with the county sheriff. I begged them to go sooner. They said there was no immediate danger and they were short-staffed because of the holiday weekend. On Tuesday they called me back. "Mr. Reed, the property is vacant. Everything you described, your clothes, laptop, even the ramen cups, was folded neatly on the bed. There was a short note that said, 'Safe travels home.' No drawings on the door, no footprints, no signs of forced entry. The owner, Mark Hensley, hasn't been located yet, but neighbors say he keeps to himself and travels a lot. We'll keep the file open." That was it. Case closed as far as they were concerned. I tried to go back to normal life. I really did. First week, I missed every deadline. My biggest client fired me. I didn't fight it. I couldn't even open my laptop without seeing that little red door drawn in the corner of my screen like a ghost image. I started jumping at every notification. I disabled Instagram, deleted Airbnb, changed my phone number twice. My mom thought I'd had a nervous breakdown and wanted me to move back home to Ohio. I almost did. But the worst part was the silence. After the woods, the city felt too loud and too quiet at the same time. I couldn't stand being alone, but I also couldn't stand people asking if I was okay. I flinch at red doors now, subway doors, bodega doors, the fire door in my hallway. I check the locks 5, 6, 7 times before bed. I sleep with the lights on. I haven't spent a single night away from my apartment since that weekend, no hotels, no friends' couches, nothing. 6 months later I got a new job, remote only, no video calls. I moved to a 4th floor walk-up with a steel building door and 2 deadbolts. I thought the new place would help. It didn't. Because last week, something new happened. Something small, but it broke me all over again. I was taking the trash out at 2 a.m. I only take it out in the middle of the night now because fewer people are around. The hallway was empty. I stepped out, pulled the door shut behind me, and heard the automatic closer click. When I turned around to walk to the chute, there was a tiny piece of red paper stuck to the outside of my apartment door, same shade as before, cut perfectly into the shape of a little door. I ripped it off with shaking fingers. On the back, in the same neat handwriting from the cabin note, were 4 words, "Welcome home, Alex." I ran back inside, called the police again. Building security checked the hallway cameras. The footage from 1:55 a.m. to 2:05 a.m. is just static, 10 minutes of white noise. Before and after, the hallway is completely empty. No one came or left. They're looking into it. I haven't slept since. I keep thinking about the old Airbnb reviews I reread 100 times after I got back. Most were normal, but 2 of them, the really negative ones I'd laughed off, were gone. Deleted. And one reviewer, a girl named Megan who stayed exactly 1 year before me, had written, "Something opened my door at 3 a.m. Host never answered. Do not stay here." Her review disappeared the same week the listing vanished. Her profile is empty now. Last post, a photo of the same red door, captioned, "Never again." Posted June 2023. She hasn't been active since. So here's the question that eats me alive every single night while I sit here with the lights on, staring at my front door. What if I wasn't the first guest he let in, and what if, for him, the stay never really ends? If you're watching this right now, check your own front door. Because sometimes, when it's really quiet, I swear I still hear that chain rattling. Just once. Like someone's lifting it off the hook again. Good night. Or whatever's left of it.